Hey, and welcome to the Zoe Marley channel. Today we are going to be talking about how to prep for NaNoWriMo when you're a hot mess. So a little bit of background on this specific video. One, I've had a rough week. Me and Stephen King kind of had some one-on-one time for like 5 hours last night, and I feel so rejuvenated after just taking a night, turning off my phone, turning off my computer, and just reading. And for the parents out there, you know how rare those nights are where your kids sync up on the same time schedule and you're like, what? Y'all are both asleep? I have time to do something for what? That happened last night, and I just turned everything off and I just read and read and read, and I loved every minute of it. But for about the last week, I've been really wanting to do a Preptober 2020 video. I announced that this is my first year doing NaNoWriMo, and for that, I want to be as prepared as possible to win the darn thing. Now, if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen, but I don't want it to not happen because of my lack of planning. I've been researching. What do I need to do? What are my goals? How am I going to accomplish them? And then I started looking at other vlogs, like people who have been successful. How have they done it? Like, what are their tips? What are their techniques? And that's when I realized that I'm a hot mess and everyone else just has their stuff together. So I had 3 phases that I went through before I decided this was the video and this was the advice I was gonna give. Phase 1, I watched other people that were like, color coding all of their like different things. They had different color sticky notes, they had different color markers, every color had a rhyme, had a reason, there was a purpose behind it, and it would go on this wall and it was beautiful and wonderful and oh my gosh. Then you had like other people that would like set out a calendar and be like, okay, well realistically this is what I'm going to be doing. I need to do blah 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 on Saturdays and Sundays. So if I do that and then I have this many days left over, I need to make sure that I write 562.98439 words a day. And I was like, whoa, right? Like the schedule was cool, the color coding looked amazing, but what really almost sent me into a panic attack, not only did they write like a 5,000 word outline, well then they wrote like a 25,000 word outline, and then they did scene cards that detailed every single scene in order. Yeah, that totally did it for me, and I was like, okay, I don't want to just like start day one with nothing, but I'm totally not on that level. And here's the sad thing is I watched all of these people and I was like, I want to be you when I grow up. And then I realized I'm probably older than all of them. And so then I went to the next excuse, which was, oh, if I just had time, I would totally do all this. No, I wouldn't. Let's be real. If I had 5 hours to do whatever I wanted for a night, I would not color code my stuff or plan out scenes or write 2 outlines and then scenes. I would spend the time either reading books for my research, or I would spend the time reading books for Halloween because it's Halloween time and I want to be scared. And then I was like, you know what? I cannot be the only person out there that's like this. Are there any other hot messes that are like, hey, I'm doing Nano and I might fail, but I'm doing it and I'm gonna prepare for it. Just not like a 40-hour work week for 4 weeks, kind of prepare for it. And you know what? Maybe I'm gonna laugh at myself next year and I'm gonna look back on this video and be like, look, you totally failed Nano. And even with it being a learning experience, I have put together hopefully what will be very successful tips on how to prep for NaNoWriMo without selling your soul. All right, so tip number 1 is going to be have fun. Are you someone that is very visually stimulated? And so if you go to Pinterest, you're like, bing, 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 bing. And then whenever you're not feeling inspired, you can just look at the board and you have all of these beautiful things to help re-inspire you. Now's the time to do that. Go have fun, go pin. And if Pinterest maybe not your thing, or maybe it is, but you got other things, set up your music playlist. Like, hello, I have bought so much Lindsey Sterling music so I can set up the perfect like fantasy violin instrumental playlist, and I can enjoy it. I'm so psyched about that. If world building is your thing and you love to do it, do extra world building right now. Whatever it is that you really have fun with, that is kind of in the same vein as writing a book. As you do things that you have fun with and that inspire you, you're going to come up with ideas, and write those ideas down, but don't force it. Now my next one is going to be like, check out different communities. So NaNoWriMo has an awesome community. Really check out YouTube and check out other AuthorTube sites. Like, you might watch that one person with the schedule. Like the lady that did the schedule, I'm gonna find her stuff and I'm gonna link it below, because I genuinely feel like it was really great advice. But if you're that person that's like, oh my gosh, I would really love to figure out how to write a schedule, this is the perfect person to learn from, because she really has mastered it. She did a fantastic job. It was just too much for me personally. Now, with that being said, you're gonna watch this stuff and you're gonna be like, that overwhelmed you? Shh. No judgment. Not only can you use YouTube to find different things that work specifically for you, specifically for your style, but you can also use YouTube to find these like write-ins or write sprints, and they're kind of all over the place. One of the things that I personally want to do before October ends is to really nail down all of the different like write-ins that you can do, find times that work for you, and then implement that into your schedule, because I really believe the best thing about NaNoWriMo is the community. And if you're not utilizing the community, then you're like removing all the fun. Don't remove all the fun. Have fun with this. So another thing is to like read and research. Find things that really resonate with you. Okay, so I do a lot of reading research. You know, I actually just resubscribed for the next 3 years to National Geographic, because I love National Geographic, and because I have such like a tribal community, they're one of the best sources for information, for photos, all of it. So there is another AuthorTuber here on YouTube named Joey Paul, and not only is she one of the biggest sources of inspiration for me personally, she just so happens to be disabled. One of my main points of view characters is bound to a wheelchair, and while I can do just a ton of research on how to write from his perspective, that doesn't mean I'm going to nail it, and that doesn't mean I'm going to get the sensitivity that I need to have in order to represent him as well as he deserves to be represented, right? So one way that I'm researching is I asked Joey Paul for book recommendations, and she said, well, you know, I've written a book myself, and it's called Lynn and Hope. One of the main characters is in a wheelchair. Well, this is kind of, I call this research, right? And my intent may have started off with, oh my gosh, this is research. It's all it's about. I enjoy it. I'm gonna get done with this book in like 3 days, not because it's a tiny book, but just because it's so enjoyable. Like, I started it when Stephen King got a little too scary for me, and I was like, if I don't read something else, I'm gonna just totally not go to sleep at all. And so I started reading this, and it was so wonderful. So yes, it's research, but it's really fun research. So yes, we're tying it back to that first point of have fun. Next, I'm going to be talking about Mindstorming. If you haven't heard of Mindstorming before, I have a video that I'll link in the card right here. And Mindstorming is my favorite way to really make plot twist. I know that in my story, I have 4 to 5 main points of views that I want to have an amazing midpoint plot twist on. And to make sure that I'm effectively doing that, I'm going to be implementing Mindstorming, and I need to do that before I actually start writing. I don't have to plot every single scene beforehand, but I need to at least know what that twist is going to be so I can build up to that twist and make it as surprising as possible. So that's everything I have for you guys today. I hope you have a wonderful day. If you have any Preptober plans, let me know in the description below what you're doing. If you have any AuthorTubers that you are like, oh my gosh, I love this person because XYZ, let us know why you love them. Let us know your favorite video that has to do with Preptober, and also link that video, you know, help them get that message out there. If you're a hot mess like me, make sure you hit that like button, and I hope to see more of you soon. Bye.